Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with another Honkai Star Rail video, because there has been some pretty big news that's been shaking the gacha space recently. Or really, it isn't shaking it as much as it would have a year ago, because HSR, the game that everyone had a lot of, favorable thoughts for, everyone thought there was a lot of potential here, it's got another opportunity to fuck it up again, because guess what's coming? Yeah. Part 2. Part 2, ladies and gentlemen, of the Honkai Star Rail Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works collaboration. When this was announced, like 2-3 years ago, people thought that this was going to be the craziest shit ever. People thought that this was going to be the best thing ever. But instead, what we got last year was one of the most disastrous collabs the space has ever seen. We all know, actually playing through the quest, they decided to cut out literally hours of dialogue, hours of great storyline, hours of good voice work, just to have what many consider to be one of the worst silent films in gacha history playing out throughout this quest. And I think one of the biggest kickers ever is when you get is it near the ending where you go to Britain? They decided to go ahead and reskin Leeway and or Finon's birthplace or some shit and just call it Britain. They put so little effort into this collaboration, so little budget, so little actual effort that it's been clowned on repeatedly ever since, especially considering that they turned Caster, one of the core servants in the Holy Grail War, they turned her into a fucking Penacony NPC. This was one of the most disrespectful things I think that the entire space has ever fucking seen. And it's actually legitimately blowing my mind that they got a second opportunity to ruin the Fate franchise again. I don't think that there was a single person out there that looked at this collab, looked at the lack of effort being put into the quest, look at the actual... looked at the dog shit quality and excuses for why they weren't able to bring the VAs into office to record the voice lines. I don't fucking know. Call it poor planning. COVID was over 5 years ago, so what's the fucking excuse here? I thought Nasu and Fate were gonna sue HSR for fucking it up this badly, but I guess they were happy. Knowing that this collaboration is kind of starting from ground zero, the only way up, or the only way to go from here, guys, in terms of expectations across the community, is up. You've already taken them, shattered them on your fucking knee, then stomped on all the fucking pieces until it's just splinters. That's what the expectations are for Hoyoverse right now when it comes to collaborations. And I think this is going to be the funniest part ever when it comes to this whole Unlimited Blade Works collab part 2 and all of that. It's all happening after this one. And do you know what a debuff this is for Hoyoverse? The Wuthering Waves x Cyberpunk Edgerunners collaboration is going to be hands down the best story the gacha space has ever seen when it comes to a collab. The best models the gacha space has ever seen when it comes to a collab. Nobody can even deny that right now. It's probably the most faithful representations an IP has ever had. And alongside that, probably the best story, because we got the literal writer of Edgerunners talking about how his team personally worked on the story of the project, and that there's going to be a lot of sadness in there. The stars are aligned for a collab like this to be the best one ever made, and to be the sort of benchmark that every future and past collab is going to get compared to moving forward. Honkai Star Rail and Fate have the reputation for making one of the worst collabs in gacha history. They're going to get followed up by one of the best ones, and then they get to release their part 2. That's rough, isn't it? That sounds painful, doesn't it? That doesn't sound like a good spot for Hoyoverse, does it? So let's see. Knowing all that info, guys, let's see just what Hoyo has prepared.
The Holy Grail War begins anew! The average one, prodigy of the Tosaka family.
All right, so the first one that they're going to be putting in, it looks like they got Rin. I think that for an Unlimited Blade Works collaboration, this is the unit that most, if not all people were expecting to be in the fucking collab. I think most people are kind of just like blown away by the idea that Unlimited Blade Works didn't have Rin in the first place. Because if you know how the Fate franchise, this was kind of like the first big sign that you knew the Fate franchise was cooked when it came to these collabs. The like heroine, the romantic interest of the Unlimited Blade Works route is her, not Saber. Saber's just regular Fate Stay Night, but they put in Saber as the fucking female collab unit last year. So people are kind of just like, what the fuck are you guys even like doing in the first place, putting Saber in here? So I'm glad they got it right here. But second, what the fuck is she wearing? They did a pretty okay job with Archer and Saber when it comes to like, you know, having some semblance of like a outfit that matches their anime design. What the fuck is even going on here? Is she supposed to be like at the academy? Is this like post storyline? What's like happening here? Like, I'm not sure if this is like a coat. Like, what is like this coat? What's this? Like, was it too hard to just, I don't know, like find a blend? The OG artist of hers made this design. Maybe this is, I mean, I feel like just like based off of like where we're seeing body proportions, all of that, I feel like this is like a way older version of Rin, probably like in her like mid-20s, something like that. So maybe they wanted something that reflects like her being like, I don't know, like in her mid-20s. So that's what they were going for, I suppose. I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but it is what it is. She's going to be a Quantum Erudition unit. I guess that makes sense to me. It's just maybe she should have been Fire because she's red. But I guess you're going to do Red Quantum instead. Hey, it is what it is.
And humanity's oldest king of heroes.
I liked how they needed to differentiate between Gilgamesh and My Day, and so they just made Gilgamesh tiny. Yeah, they just made Gilgamesh like a twink. Because they knew he looked too much like My Day. He still looks like My Day, though, if we're frankly going to be fucking honest, so I guess they put more clothes on him. How can they do Gilgamesh dirty like this? I don't know what they were kind of like thinking, putting on like this BDSM gear on him. Like, but he literally has like BDSM, like gimp suit gear. I don't know, man. Maybe like, where's his armor? Like, bro, why couldn't they do his armor? And if they wanted him shirtless, couldn't they have just done him shirtless in his armor? Oh, wait. That looks just like fucking My Day. I forgot. That's My Day. Do you see why they didn't do the gold armor for him? That would have been rough, right? Yeah, you guys probably see how the gold armor would have been really rough, right? He's going to be an Electro Destruction? I'm sorry. You're telling me the guy that opens the gates of Babylon and draws an infinite number of weapons from, like, his own, like, magical storage is not imaginary? You managed to make Gilgamesh not imaginary? Are they gonna put Aya at least? Aya is, like, the definition of imaginary, though. Is he not gonna use Aya for his ultimate? Bro, I don't even have any faith now. I feel like these guys don't even know what they're fucking doing, bro. Like, at this point, this just looks ridiculous. How the fuck is he Electro? He would have been the same elements and role like My Day then? Bro, make him like fucking imaginary Hunt then, bro. Bro, I don't know, make him like imaginary something else. Bro, make him imaginary Remembrance. I don't give a shit. I don't, like, these outfits are kind of mid. I'm gonna be honest. These outfits are kind of mid, and they're kind of gonna lead me back into the points that I was making before. I think that these designs definitely don't hit home in a similar way that other collab designs are gonna hit home. Namely, I don't fucking know. You could have just made them look like they did in the fucking anime, but apparently I heard that like the creator is actually the one that modeled these. Hey, sometimes, not everyone's the CEO of their company forever. At a certain point, maybe you could say, all right, it's time to go to bed, old man. Maybe it's time to go to bed, old man, and get the fuck and, you know, just like go the fuck to sleep for a second and let the professionals handle this. Because these designs kind of look like shit. I'm just going to be honest. Maybe some people really like them. I personally don't. Knowing the track record that these guys have managed to do, I'll go with this. I think the kits are probably going to be fine. I think the kits are probably going to be good. I think the animations are going to be decent. But when it comes to things like the story, when it comes to things like the production value, the plot, all of that, I've got no faith at all in this collaboration. This is probably the story that's going to happen over here. There's going to be like some sort of like summoning experience. Gilgamesh is actually not going to be a servant. He's going to like reprise like his Fate Stay Night role and actually be like, I don't know, like one of the summoners or some shit. And then they're going to end up like going to fucking Babylon or something. Then they're going to probably bring in like some Grand Order shit. Because apparently these splash arts are just like an amalgamation of like everything in the fucking series. She's got like Ishtar earrings, like fucking base color design, and the sword from Heaven's Feel. Maybe Rin's a servant now. Bro, I don't even fucking know at this point. All I know is that this story over here was the most around the fucking globe, pointless, contrived garbage that I don't think anyone even registered. They just either finished it to finish it, or they just didn't finish it. Because this story was so fucking bad. Ham-fisted joke. And you want to know what the worst part about this is? People said that Nasu, the original writer and author of Fate, or some shit like that, signed off on this story. Guys, people said that the original writer signed off on this quest. He got the bag. He 1000% got the bag. You know this dude doesn't care as long as you pay him enough. He took the bag and ran away. These guys, lead writer of Edge Runners, all of this, guys, this is a company. Cyberpunk is like an IP that CD Projekt Red has. This is an entire company. They're not just going to do it for the bag. They've got a reputation and shit and production value to protect. This is going to be my personal take. You got this collab coming up right after this one. The original Fate dog shit collab. This collab is going to set the new gold standard moving forward for like stories, character designs, kits, all of that. And Honkai Star Rail is going to have the biggest shoes in gacha history to fill when it comes to actually being able to fucking compete, bro. And I feel like this collab might have way less hype, way less fanfare, and honestly, it's probably going to get shit on even more than the first one ever did. Because this one over here, guys, people just called it bad. People just said it wasn't good. People just pointed out where the assets were reused. Do you want to know what's going to happen in like August of this year? You're going to have everybody putting shit like this side by side with shit like this. And then saying both companies had a year to work. Both companies announced this shit a year in advance. Both companies, right, have a lot of money to work with, but Hoyo has more. Wuwa's doing this with less. Wuwa's doing this with smaller IPs and stuff like that too. And the results are actively better. I don't know. I guess to me, I kind of expected like a lot more. Oh, wait, maybe it'll be this. Let's check this one out. This is the last little bit they got over here. Get a collaboration exclusive 5-star character for free. Gilgamesh or Archer. Oh, and you got Nasu supervising it. Oh, that's not good. I guess the Fate units are basically permanent, which is like kind of good. I assume their banners are just going to keep going. And I guess like Archer, it didn't really matter if you skipped him because you could theoretically just get him again and you've always been able to get him, I guess. I guess Gilgamesh being for free is good. I just hope he's like not shit, but at least they're doing something like this. But in all honesty, I feel like free gacha collab characters have just kind of become the standard because as we all know, Rebecca's free in the Wuwa one. And so, yeah, they're probably going to give the less popular character. I think it does make sense that Gilgamesh is being given out over Rin. Rin's probably going to be the most popular for reasons. Makes sense to me. So, yeah, I mean, playing field is obviously very even. Playing field is super even for the free collab side. But I think we've addressed pretty much everything else that's really going to cause a lot of issues for Hoyoverse moving forward. But maybe they'll learn from this. Or maybe we'll have another fucking silent film all over again for no goddamn reason. But it is what it is. Let me know what you all thought about this one. Let me know if you're hyped. And let me know if you're going to be coming back to Honkai Star Rail. I certainly won't be, but I'm very excited for the videos that are going to be coming out on this topic very, very, very soon. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.